Alright, good afternoon guys. These are going to be our notes for 19-1, understanding quadratic functions. Okay, couple things we need to know. The quadratic parent function is y equals ax squared, where a is not 0. Okay, so if a is a positive number, it's going to open up and you'll end up with a minimum. If a is negative, it's going to open, your graph will open down and it's going to be a maximum. Every quadratic function, the graph forms a U-shaped graph, which we call a parabola. Okay, so we need to answer some questions about a few different equations for our notes. So the first question is about y equals -3 times x squared, or -3x squared. It says, does it open up or down? Because our a value is -3, our graph is going to open down. Okay, the next one is 0, 0, the highest maximum or the lowest minimum point on the graph. Okay, because our graph opens down, that is going to be our maximum. Sorry. The next set of questions are about y equals 0.1 x squared. Okay, and it says, is the graph more wider or more narrow than the graph of y equals x squared? And I kind of flashed the answer just a second ago. It's going to be wider because it opens slower. What is an equation of the axis of symmetry of the graph? Okay, without an h and a k, which you should remember from previous lessons, the axis of symmetry, it goes directly down the middle, and it will be x equals 0. Okay, the next one, two questions are about y equals -0.1 x squared. And the first question says, does it open up or down? It's going to open down because we have a -0.1. And the last question says, what are the coordinates of the highest maximum or lowest minimum point on the graph? Okay, we know because it is negative and it opens down that we're going to have a maximum. And again, there's no h or k value, so the middle of it is going to be 0, 0. Okay, I have a couple more examples for you on the back side. The first one says graph g of x equals 2x squared. So I just chose some values to plug in. So if I put -2 in for x, -2 squared is 4 times 2 is 8. -1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2. If I plug a 0 in there, I get 0. If I plug 1 in, 1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2. When I plug 2 in, 2 squared is 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and graph those values. So I have -2, 8, -1, 2, 0, 0, 1, 2, and 2, 8. Okay, and these are not straight lines, these are curved. It's kind of easiest to start at the middle and go like that. Okay, so my axis of symmetry is actually the y-axis. So that is x equals 0. Because it opens up, my minimum is 0, 0. Okay, and then it also wants to know about the domain and range. My domain, as you can see on the graph, is not limited, so it's all real numbers. And my range, no matter what x value I put in, It's not going to drop below 0, so I would say it's y is greater than or equal to 0. Alright, the second example, we're going to use -4, -2, 0, 2, and 4. We're going to use those numbers because there's a fraction and we're trying to use multiples of the denominator. So if I put -4 in for x, I'll get -8. -2 gives you -2. 0, 0. 2 is -2, and 4 is -8. Okay, I'm going to graph the points. So I have -4, -8, -2, -2, 0, 0, 2, -2, and 4, -8. And again, when you connect the dots, you need to make your line curved. Okay. The domain is again going to be all real numbers. And the range this time is y is less than or equal to 0. Because no matter what I put in for x, my values are never going to come above. Okay, the last example is to write a rule for a quadratic function. When you do this, you're going to pick a point on the graph and substitute it into the parent function. Okay, and remember the parent function is g of x equals ax squared. Okay, so the point from the graph that I'm going to use is 4, 8. So I'm going to start with the parent function. G of x equals ax squared. I'm going to substitute those two values in. So it'll be 8 equals a times 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. So 8 equals 16a. Divide both sides by 16. So my a value is 1/2. So the quadratic function would be g of x equals 1/2 x squared. Okay, your homework for this lesson is 19.1. It's on 704 to 706. Do number 2 through 12 even, and then numbers 16 through 21. Oh.